The main point is to generate within the heart or the mind, whatever you prefer, a warm, gentle feeling of loving concern for the person who is the object of the loving kindness. Okay, so let us take our sitting position. Settle into the body. The felt experience of the body. And let the mind go to the region of the heart chakra. And now we're going to start the development of loving kindness with oneself as the recipient. Okay, now, now switch over to the dear and respected person or the benefactor. And now you move to the very dear person, very close person. Now the neutral person. Now the disagreeable person. Okay, you can come back to the felt sense of the body. Take a few mindful deep breaths in and out. Then you can relax and then give yourself the massage to stimulate the circulation. And then we'll do about 10 minutes of the walking meditation. And then we'll come back to our seats. And when we're ready to sit, then you'll hear the chime. It'll be roughly 10 minutes. Is the sound coming?
Yes, Bhante.
Do you hear my voice?
Yes, Bhante. We can hear you, Bhante.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to accelerate the practice, the method of practice. Usually we would bring in the next stage after a few days of practicing with the 5 people in sequence, but we want to get a sense of the fuller extent of the practice within this one-day retreat. So what we do now in this session, we take the 5 persons, or maybe it's easier to exclude yourself, but you take the other 4 persons, the benefactor, the very dear person, the neutral person, and the disagreeable person. And we try to generate the loving kindness to all of them simultaneously, rather than moving in sequence from one to the next, to the next, to the next. We maybe imagine that we're in a room and we're sitting together with the other 4 people, and we want to generate the loving kindness to all of us simultaneously, bringing us all together in one group. Ding da dong. Okay, so let us try that now. And this won't be guided, so you do this on your own. But if you find it too difficult, then you can go back to taking the individual persons in sequence. But don't give up too easily. Give it a try, push for it, to try to bring all 5 persons, oneself and the 4 other people, to generate the loving kindness towards all of them simultaneously and equally, so that we're breaking down the barriers or the distinctions between the different groups of people, and now trying to develop an equal, non-discriminating loving kindness. Okay, so let us begin. Maybe I'll give a little initial guidance and then stop speaking. Okay, so imagine you are in a room, sitting at a table, maybe a round table, and you're in one seat, then your dear and respected person, the benefactor, is in another seat, maybe to your right. And in the next seat, to that person's right, is a very close person. And in the next seat is the neutral person, the indifferent person. And then in the last seat is the hostile person or disagreeable person. So bring all of those persons at once into the range of your heart, or into the range of the mind, and generate the wish. May all of these good persons be well. Well in the sense of being healthy. And just keep on now developing that wish to all of them together, that they all be well and healthy. We do this for about 5 minutes. Yeah, it's okay if you go quickly from one person to another within the group. If you find it hard to get them all together simultaneously, you could just move quickly from one to the other, wishing that they be well. Now generate the wish that all of the people in this group be happy. May they all experience true, deep, stable happiness. Oneself, the benefactor, the dear person, the neutral person, the disagreeable person. And again, you can go quickly from one to the other, maybe a few rounds, and try to encompass them all simultaneously. Okay, now we move to the thought, the wish, may they all be safe, safe from harm and danger. And again, you can move from one to the other in rapid succession, and then pause and then try to bring them all together with the wish that they all simultaneously, may they all be safe. You could do that for a little while, then go back to a quick sequence, and then try to bring them again collectively into the thought, may they all be safe. And now generate the thought, the wish, may all their good purposes, their good undertakings be fulfilled. And again, you can go first through each one in turn, each person in turn, in quick succession. Then try to bring them all in simultaneously. Then perhaps go in succession again, then bring them in simultaneously. Whatever you find works best. You can come back to your body now, the felt sense of the body. Then do a few deep, mindful in and out breaths. And then you can relax the posture and end with the massage to stimulate the circulation. If you've been sitting too long, you might stand up. We might do some stretches for bending and stretching for a minute or so, and then we'll sit again. One, two, three, four, five, six. Other direction. One, two, three, four, five, six. Why is the young monk still sitting? And one, two, three, four, five, one, two, three, four, five. Okay. Sit. Okay, let us see. Do we have some questions? Let's see.
Ante, we have one question that we received via email.
Okay, but first let's take the hand question. So I see Gita.
Can you
Okay.
hear me, Bhante? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Bhante? Can you hear me, Bhante?
Okay, now I can hear.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante, for this wonderful retreat. It's been awesome. I have a question for you on this loving kindness, compassion meditation.
Yeah.
I found that in the past and even now, there's sometimes feelings that erupt because I'm feeling gratitude when we're doing Buddhanusati, deep gratitude and reverence to the Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
And also I feel sadness when I think about compassion, seeing suffering all around me,
Yeah.
all around us. And as a result of it, there's like a wave of feeling coming in and bringing tears to my eyes,
Yeah.
actually, and the tears roll down. And it lasts for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then it subsides, and it's extremely peaceful. It's almost like blissful.
Yeah.
And then I start feeling like much nicer.
Yeah.
And the feeling is incredible. Now, is this normal, or is this, am I doing something wrong?
No, I think it's normal for, um, that's if you're doing the compassion meditation where you're focusing on suffering, it's quite normal and natural in the earlier stages, particularly if you have a kind of sensitive mind for the compassion to bring up that strong feelings and even to, for in some cases, for people to shed tears. So there's a distinction between the loving kindness and the compassion. And
Yes.
now, we're not doing the compassion meditation, but we're doing the loving kindness. And so that should be, it has like a more positive flavor in that one is wishing for well-being, for happiness,
Correct.
for safety. So of course, naturally, especially when I do the wish, may so-and-so be safe, then I start thinking about the dangers that they're exposed to, and that almost leads into compassion. But we're trying to keep it not focusing on the suffering aspect, but generating the wish for well-being, happiness, and safety.
Yes. And that happiness and safety can bring those tears of joy,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
So that's
Yeah.
it.
And
But
that's normal.
eventually, we want to sort of temper and balance whether it's loving kindness, compassion, or joy, to have it tempered with some degree of equanimity so that one doesn't get swept away by the emotional currents. But it's natural that that will happen especially in an early stage.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, now there was first, before I take the other hand questions, Jane, I think it was Jane, said
Yes,
that there was a question from the internet. Let's take that one.
Yes, Bante, thank you. This is from Samantha, and she is asking, although she doesn't generate any feelings of hatred during towards the disagreeable person, she is having difficulty generating feelings of loving kindness of the same strength as the other three targets. So the question is, can she truly develop unconditional and selfless metta without bias or judgment?
Of course, that is possible, and that is the aim. But we shouldn't expect, if one is just like starting today in just a few sessions, to be able to generate loving kindness towards the disagreeable person, loving kindness of the same strength as the loving kindness that one could generate towards the other persons, particularly the respected person and the very dear person. So this is a matter of doing persistent, patient, and regular work on the meditation. So the ideal is to be able to extend the loving kindness equally to all of these persons. Though it doesn't come quickly and easily, but it's a gradual process. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm successful in that. But that is sort of the aim at which we are striving.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, Olivia? Yeah,
Hello, Bante. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the question, although I'm not sure if it qualifies as a practical question. I know yesterday we talked about one of the attributes of the Buddha being a Bhagava, which was a being the Blessed One and a storehouse of abundant meritorious qualities that the Buddha is able to put out to the world, a blessing to the world. Similarly, if metta is an unconditional deployment of kindness, how can, and there's no act associated with it, no tangible act associated with it, how is metta received and absorbed?
I didn't quite get the last part. How is metta received and absorbed?
Yes, how does the recipient
I see.
absorb and receive the metta?
How does, again?
The recipient.
Yeah, it isn't the case that Well, it's not, generally, it's not the case that say, I'm developing loving kindness towards this person or that person. It's not, generally, it's not the case that that person is actually going to receive sort of the vibrations or spiritual force of my loving kindness. So that if a person, say, is feeling gloomy and sad, and they don't know I'm sitting in this monastery, not in communication with them, and I'm developing loving kindness towards them, it's not necessarily the case that they're going to break out of their dismal mood and think, wow, I'm feeling happy. How is that happening? And the real reason is that I'm sending the loving kindness towards them. It's not like that. This is a way primarily of cultivating our own mind, our own character, to fill ourselves with loving kindness and good wishes and benevolence towards others. So it might be the case, and this I can't say with certainty, that there are very subtle levels of causation. And so if, say, we have a meditator, like a really advanced bodhisattva with very strong, loving, powerful loving kindness, and they send loving kindness towards a gloomy, depressed person, it's possible that their loving kindness will have that psychological force to be able to invisibly and imperceptibly change the mood of that person and benefit that person. But for most of us who are quite ordinary people, it's not actually bringing direct benefits through our loving kindness towards the other person. Though it might, that I can say, but it's not invariably the case that you could be confident that if I'm generating loving kindness towards Mr. Smith, that in some way Mr. Smith is going to benefit directly from the loving kindness I'm sending to them.
Okay, so would that, to summarize, Bhante, would that mean that the sender basically is recalibrating themselves within by sending out unconditional metta?
Yeah, very good expression, recalibrating themselves, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, let me take some people who don't get a chance to ask questions so often. Actually, they're dropping off. Okay, so we'll take Sud.
Thank you, Bhante, for taking my question. Now, instead of using one specific person for each group, can we use a group of people? Like I have a group of benefactors and I have a group of close friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good question. And the way I explain on the Wednesday evenings, I have the meditators in our Wednesday meditation group take a group of people for each category. But here in this retreat, we're trying to develop the loving kindness more intensively. And so to develop it more intensively, we want to take one person in each group. But if you do like a daily practice of metta meditation, you could use, I would say, a few people in each category. What I say is you could take 3 or 4, but don't go beyond 4, then it gets too diffuse.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, we take Catherine.
Yes, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante. My question is the disagreeable person. Could that be oneself? Since I need to repent on the decisions made before, and I wanted to reconcile with myself. Is that okay or not?
No, one shouldn't take oneself as the disagreeable person. If you have, some regrets, remorse, that should come in when you're using yourself as the first person who is the recipient of the metta. In that case, you send the loving kindness towards yourself as yourself. But for the disagreeable person, it should be another person.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, then Stephen Thompson.
Good afternoon, Bhikkhu Bodhi, Bhante Mangala, and everybody. A question to follow up on one that was asked earlier, where you affirmed that what we're doing today is to cultivate wholesome qualities. May I ask a question about how immeasurable concentration may relate to this? Or would that take us off track?
Well, what's called a measurable concentration or a measurable samadhi, that is the samadhi that is attained when the loving kindness or the compassion, the altruistic joy or equanimity, the four divine abodes, is developed to a measureless extent.
Okay, so the
seeds of that in the evening session. So when it really becomes a measurable concentration, it means that one is in the deep samadhi based on either loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, or equanimity.
Bhikkhu Bodhi, do the commentaries explain the mechanism of action whereby immeasurable concentration is transmitted from one place to another, whether within the human realm or between the human realm and other realms? Or is that an unanswerable question that is merely skeptical and that would not be conducive to the practice?
Yeah, for the immeasurable concentration is not extended to other realms. This is similar to the question that Olivia asked, whether one is actually, when sending loving kindness to another person, one is actually sort of benefiting them in some way. So one is developing the immeasurable concentration as a meditative state in one's own mind. Perhaps that immeasurable concentration, maybe it extends to other realms and can sort of affect the beings in other realms, but that I don't know, and to my knowledge, nothing is said in the text about that.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay, I'll just take one more question, and this is Kaiti.
Yes, Bhante, good afternoon. I just want to seek some information. While I was doing the concentrated on contemplate on the like a not a friendly person, and I usually before my practice I kind of avoid to do that because it's not easy for me to do it.
Yeah.
But this time I'm trying to do it, and I feel like once I get into it, I kind of feel less emotional about that person or that party. So is that the right direction? And I also feel like my breathing is more stable. So I just want to know that I'm doing the right.
When you say you feel less emotional,
yes.
what do you mean by that?
Usually because you have like a not easy emotion towards a certain party, and then while doing the meditation, you feel like you have less emotion, you have more loving kindness towards that person, more like objective. Yes.
So that's a good sign.
Okay.
The feeling of resentment or aversion towards that person goes down, even if you can just keep a degree of indifference towards that person. It's a sign of progress. But then, of course, we want to advance a little further and look at that person. The way I see it, sometimes to look at that person as being our own son or daughter or our brother and sister, and then, or even our mother and father, and then have that loving concern for them, even if they do nasty things to us and to other people.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay, so it's 5 o'clock now, and so we'll be ending the afternoon session. And then we will resume at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. We come back for the evening chanting and then the Dharma talk. And then we will do further development of the loving kindness meditation in the last sessions. Okay, so let us end with 3 half bows to the Buddha.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Bhante.
much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. One Saranai.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you so much. Love you, Bante.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Bhante.
Thank you.